Focus episode 104. Fight off getting overwhelmed. A lot of people get overwhelmed when they start writing, because the next obstacle, the next little bit of success is so important to temper your expectations and to temper your work processes. Sure, you can improve, you can increase your productivity, but don't look at 1,000-word day and say, I know I can get 5,000 and strive for it tomorrow. You'll burn yourself out, and it's hard to come back from that. So priorities, understand what you can do and then set that as the priority. Don't get distracted. Keep those priorities straight, as in, I'm going to produce 1,000 words a day. I'm going to produce 500 words a day. It doesn't matter, as long as you know that this I can do without killing myself. And it's okay to go over every now and then, because my target is 2,500 words a day. I really want to get 2,500 words a day. I can get that with a solid 2 hours of production. I started getting 3,000, 3,500, 4,000, and all of a sudden I'm looking at, oh, geez, I can get a couple more books done this year. Think about that, 4,000 words a day when you're used to getting 2,500. Backed up, 2,500, that's good. Don't take on those extra commitments based on what your optimal production is. You've got to base it on what your average or even a little bit below average production. So those are the realistic expectations. People start asking you to join anthologies. Oh, sure. Oh, man, look at the exposure over here. Oh, yeah, I can do a collaboration deal here. And all of a sudden, now you're 2,500 words a day. Instead of being committed for the next 6 months, you're committed for the next year. And oh, by the way, people want stuff early. So now you're back to a year's worth of obligations for 6 months. You've got to learn when to say no. This would be great, but now is not the right time. That's an important thing to understand and build into the foundation of your business. So don't succumb to that external pressure. And the greatest thing is you can't give in to the allure of success. Oh man, my latest book, the third book in that series, hit and did really well. So I better get that fourth book out and keep pressing and keep driving a fifth book and sixth book. Understand the allure of success. It will come once you have a backlist. My biggest selling book right now is a box set of books that I wrote 4 and 5 years ago. So that box set, it keeps leading the way. I put out new thrillers. These are the best things I've ever written. The box set is still leading. So it's okay. Don't fall into that trap of the next book will be the one that will get me over the hurdle, because you know what? It might be that last book. It might be the book you wrote 4 years ago. And in my case, that's the one that got me into a next level of revenue. This 9-book box set of books I wrote 4 years ago. So understand what you're doing. Always do the absolute best you can. Write the best book you can. And this is where you have to be honest with yourself. Are you starting to cut corners? Are you starting to take shortcuts? Me, I've got a huge team behind me to read in process, to read after it's done, to make sure that the books are high quality. I review them once after I've written them, and then I turn them over. Sometimes I write it, I'll do some spot checks, and then I'll turn it over. But these other people, I listen to them. If they say, hey, you're kind of falling off the wagon here, then I'll take it back. I'll fix it, because it's important to always maintain the absolute highest quality you can. But after 5 million words, guess what? That first draft gets pretty good. A lot of practice makes you better. So if your first book doesn't resonate, guess what? More practice. So always write the next book. Checklists help me immensely, because I'll start getting so many things going on that I lose track of what I need to do. And this is where checklist, I draw a little box, I put a thing, I can check it off when I'm done. And I don't put in a big boxes like write this next book. Now I write like review the audiovisual requirements for 20 books, Vegas. That I had to put as a check, because I don't want to forget and do it. Reload a KDP print cover, because it came out, it got kicked back. I almost forgot about that. And then this morning it's like, oh my God. So write down checklist, check boxes, get those done, be able to manage the little things. So then the big things will take care of themselves. So learn to say no, set your expectations based on your average production, and that's production as well as new words, as well as reviewing old words, as well as managing your business. If you want to build an ad today, make a note, build an ad, and commit that time without committing more time than you physically have available to you. So understand your limitations and work within them to avoid getting overwhelmed. And that's easy. The more success you have, the more the draw will be to do better, bigger, faster. And you've got to learn to say no. You've got to know what your limits are. Nora Roberts, 4 books a year. And she says, I write during these times. I do this. Even if I go to a show, I write from 8 to noon. This is what I do. 4 books a year. Don't ask me for any more. Great. And she's been doing it for 40 years, and she's got a lot of books out because of consistency, not because, hey, let me write 20 books this year. Whoa, hang on there, big fella. If you've only written 1 or 2 before in a year, 20 books might be a big hurdle that will crush your soul and show you that you can't get there from here. When if you build it up a little at a time, a lot better. Understand yourself, know your limits, and work within them.